Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
Hello and welcome to the Popternative Podcast, the podcast and talk show where we have digital discussions from the worlds of TV, film, pop culture, social media, everything really, depending on the guests, we talk about it all. As always, I'm your host, Peter Remoliotis, and on social media, you know me as PD Beats. You'll recognize my guests from a lot of really cool TV shows such as True Blood, 24, Live Another Day, and Once Upon a Time. But you will also recognize him from a horror film that I really enjoyed called 1BR. We are with Giles Matthey. Giles, welcome to Popternative, man.
Thank you very much. And what a good introduction that was. You spat that out very well.
I wanted to practice a little bit. You helped me with that in the preamble, so thank you very much. So, here's the thing. Like, I'm not going to beat around the bush. We talked about it before. I mean, you've been in some of these amazing shows, you know what I mean? But what I kind of wanted to interview you about was 1BR, which is an independent horror film that you're in. That is just fantastic. Congrats on that, man.
Thank you very much, man. I really appreciate that. It's become actually a little darling of mine, which is really nice because I've done a few similar type of films that have amounted to nothing, but this one is really it's starting to catch people's attention and people are starting to really resonate with it, so it's really nice.
And I feel like it's the perfect example of these films when I go and recommend like certain horror films, because what I love about the genre, Giles, is it is evolving to the point where you don't need the cheap jump scare or all the gore to scare someone these days. There are many different ways to scare people psychologically as well. And 1BR delivers that. It's a unique horror film that uses a lot of different elements of the traditional, but it really has elevated the genre, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's almost like an acting choice. You got to have somewhere to go. And I think when you introduce a lot of gore and jump scares, when that becomes too much, you just you check out a bit, and it needs to be earned, just like in a scene. You need to have a destination. So I think it's more psychological, but it does have those moments which are perfect.
It's funny because especially 1BR, I mean, you know, you're British, as we could hear right now, but you don't play British in the film at all. Does that kind of happen a lot where you do these interviews after people see you in something and they're like, oh, like they had no idea that you were British? Does that happen a lot of times?
Yeah, that has. I did a film, and just like this, fairly low budget, but it was an even crazier action. It was he was kind of hood, and he was from the South, and so it was like a hood Southern accent. So, and when people get surprised, it's kind of nice to know that you've not fooled them, but they bought into this character. So yeah, it does happen about like 50% of the time I'm doing an American accent, and it's really important as an actor to be able to do that.
I'll get back to 1BR and I'll get back to some of the amazing TV shows that you've been to, but like I want to kind of know, like, you know, whether, you know, you're an actor, a writer, director, like you're all storytellers in the entertainment industry. So when did Giles Matthey decide that he wanted to be a storyteller?
My aunt took me to the theater, and I saw a really good performance of Shadowlands, which not many people have heard of, but it's a really interesting story about C.S. Lewis, and almost like a life story of his, and he falls in love with a fan of his, actually. Anyway, this actor who portrayed C.S. Lewis, a guy called Charles Dance, who's in Game of Thrones, and he was about 5 meters away. I was really close, and I just thought, and I was about 13, and I just thought, if I can do what he's doing, to 10% of what he's doing, if I can move people, if I can take them along and have them in the palm of my hand, I would love to do that, because I was right there with him. So that's kind of that was the seed.
No, absolutely. I just want to say the storyteller question is like a hallmark question of my show. Like I asked that question to all my guests, you know what I mean? And
yeah, what?
But your answer was like really good and really specific, because you complimented me on my intro. I'm complimenting you and answering the storyteller question, because no, that was awesome. That was the first one where it was like, my aunt brought me to a specific show. Good. I
Yeah,
like that. It's good stuff.
I can remember exactly the time. I remember what the actor was doing. I remember Charles Dance was fiddling with keys in his pocket while talking about losing the love of his life. So it's very specific, and it just got me. So
Could we do a little bit of so I mentioned some of the TV shows, the TV landscape. I mean, someone could make an argument that it's like the golden age of television in the last like 10 years. So many amazing shows. You're part of some of those amazing shows that have amazing fan bases. Could we do a little bit of like a tour of Giles Matthey in terms of the 3 shows that I mentioned in the beginning of the show, and just kind of touch a little bit on your experiences on each of those kind of shows? So start with, True Blood, then go to Once Upon a Time, then go to 24.
yeah, no problem. So True Blood, I wasn't even meant to be in LA, and it was kind of one of those stories that you feel like, that's the bit of luck that you need. And I was meant to be going back to New York because I was just finished acting school, and that's where I lived. And my agent said, please go in and meet with, they're having a really hard time finding their guy for this role. And he said it was for True Blood. I had never heard of it. And to be honest, I was someone said it was about vampires. And at the time I was very over vampires because Twilight and all that. And I just thought, this is probably going to be rubbish. I'll go. And then casting, I realized, wow, I should have done my homework, but it was quite last minute. Casting were a really good casting office, and then they said if you can wait and kind of delay your departure, you can get in the room with Alan Ball, who he wrote American Beauty. He's an Oscar winner, and he was the creator of True Blood. And so there I was in front of him, and I had no idea who he was, but I just did my thing. And then I went to the airport, and then I got told when I was in the security line that you got the role. And so that was the start. And when I was my first few days, it was terrifying because I thought, no, this is insane. I'm shooting in a big studio with loads of background artists, and I've got Anna Paquin in front of me. What the hell am I doing here? I felt like an imposter, and I felt like I wasn't going to be good enough. And there's so many, it was a real trial by fire. And then you start to kind of enjoy it. You start to realize, oh no, I can do this. And then lots of supportive people there as well. All those actors were very nice. So that was my kind of first big role. And then when it came to 24, I was fortunate enough to. So I was playing an American filming in London,
UK.
Yeah, exactly. And 24, I knew my job in that show, which was basically I was the tech guy that spat out all the hard dialogue that talks about manual back traces, that talks about data retrieval programs, that talks about all that. And then my boss, Benjamin Bratt, wonderful actor, he would just be like, thank you, Jordan, and that'll be it. And I've done all that long monologue. I'm in and just say thank you, Jordan, or like, did you hear that? And I'm just like, for God's sake. Anyway, and that was really scary because I knew that show before. That was, and it was high stakes all the time. And my job is to keep that pace up. And it's hard to spit out dialogue when it's so complex like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was tough. And it was with, Kiefer Sutherland, a massive star. And you really felt like you were going to be a part of a cog of a machine that's well trained, it was well up and running. So it was kind of another trial by fire, I thought, but I had a lot of fun doing it. It was great to be part of both of those shows. And then with Once Upon a Time, I was close to getting a different role on the same show.
That's a massive fan base. Like people talk about, like it's crazy. Like that fan base is wild.
Oh yeah, I know. Those fans are real fans.
It's up there. Like it's up there.
They would find out where we're shooting. I don't know how, leaked call sheets, whatever, and they would wait for you to sign things. And my first day, I was shooting in the woods, and they knew my name. I was like, how do these people know my name? How do they know that I'm filming? How do they know my character? So I got to play Rumpelstiltskin's son, played by Robert Carlyle, and I'd grown up watching Trainspotting. I'd grown up watching 28 Days Later. I'd grown up watching The Full Monty. So this guy, I knew he did anger really well. So I was very, I was like, I'm going to be opposite him pretty much the majority. So that was nerve-wracking. But then when I got to know him, he was just so lovely. We had the same type of sense of humor. We both loved a guy called Steve Coogan. We just bonded straight away, and me, Emily, and Robert were just like pretty close mates from pretty early on.
You were not the first Once Upon a Time guest I've had on. Like, I've had a lot of people from Once Upon a Time, like some like main roles and some kind of like guest roles. Like Jared Gilmore played Henry. Came on my show.
Yeah. I adore Jared. He's a lovely guy.
And then there was, I mentioned before, like Tara Scobie. She was on Once Upon a Time, and then Lee Arenberg was on Once Upon a Time.
We didn't have any scenes together, but he
Lee is amazing. Lee's been on my show twice, and it's like, and then Chad Michael Collins, who played Frankenstein's monster, I believe.
Okay, that rings a bell.
But it's just like it's cool. But do you also notice as an actor that a lot of those shows that have ensemble casts, like, it's so generous in terms of the amount of like opportunities that come to be with ensemble cast, right?
Yeah, no, it really you wonder, don't you? Because I think Jamie Dornan, he played the sheriff on that show, and he became 50 Shades of Grey man, Mr. Grey. So it's an interesting one. And what you realize is that even when you think, for example, when I got True Blood, I thought, right, that's it. My career is, I'm never like, this is it, working that much, and you're just like, oh no. So that's what I mean when I say this industry does not surprise you. So yeah, it's quite also interesting to watch how people they progress in their careers and what they end up doing, and where you'll next see them as well.
So we got the TV stuff out of the way. Let's talk back. Let's talk again now about the important stuff. 1BR.
Yeah, sure.
But it must amaze you though a little bit, right? That like some small projects like that didn't cost as much money to make become so popular with people. I mean, we're talking about Mecha Television right there. And then, you know, an indie film 1BR that scared the crap out of everyone, that just like is so important to the genre. It's pretty cool, right?
I think that's kind of part of the beauty about indie filmmaking. If you have a good director, if you have a good story, and if you have actors that are competent, then you have a chance. It's just most people kind of they miss one of those elements. Most productions miss one of those elements, and that's why if you have all of those, then you do have a chance. And I think this is one of those films that has all of those elements working in its favor, and it has surprised me. But also I was also pleasantly surprised, because the whole idea of, well, I shouldn't say, I was told to say this in an interview, community, not the C word, and not the illness, the C word, the C word, and not that C word. I'll just say it, cult. Because it gives the game away a bit. We were told to say community. That kind of fascinates me.
Okay. You mentioned, I have to say this right now. This is like the horror geek of me talking, so I'm sorry, okay? And like, you're probably going to respond, be like, okay, cool, I feel you. But like, okay. No. So, and like, I'm hoping people see the movie because it's fantastic. Okay. You mentioned the C word. Mm-hmm. You watched the trailer, right?
Yes.
And that comes to mind that you might be a community. You know what I mean? Okay.
Yes.
And then you watch the movie.
Yeah.
And it's true. You know what I mean? Okay. But it's like, but you're still surprised at how it comes to be. You know what I mean? Like, it's very hard for a film to do. Do you know what I mean?
No, that I think was the key challenge, and that's what David did so well, and kind of what his writing suggested even before I even stepped onto set, which was everything is pure intention. So these people don't believe that they are bad, because what cult does, they all believe they have the truth, just like any extremist beliefs. They all believe that they are pure intention. Their way is the way, and please follow. If you don't follow, then we'll either punish you or we'll make you understand.
Yeah.
But it's all pure intention, and that's what this community is. And I think, was it the road to hell is paved with pure intentions. That's kind of springs to mind.
Well, I don't know if you saw, but in 2015, there's one of my favorite horror films of all time, which I feel like I'm not gonna talk about it much because it's similar to 1BR in my opinion, and perhaps maybe that's why I liked it so much.
Yeah.
Is The Invitation? Have you seen that?
Yeah. I haven't seen it, but the producer.
Okay, well, first of all, are you a fan of the genre, Giles?
I am. I really am, and I got lucky enough to audition for. I have two little stories which are kind of cool. I love James Wan.
Yep,
James. Yeah, so I'm a massive fan of James Wan and The Conjuring and all those movies.
So I've interviewed from the Insidious films. I've interviewed Lynn Shay.
So I have a little in with there as well. I did a movie with her brother Bob, who founded New Line, and Lynn was in that movie that I did. So I've worked with Lynn on a movie. But anyway, that's by the by. I auditioned for The Nun, and I also auditioned for The Conjuring 2, and I got so close to the role. I was pretty sure my agent said, you've got the role for The Conjuring 2, just to play one of the police officers that kind of investigates it. Obviously,
in The Nun, did you go for was it a more main role?
Yeah, the French guy.
Was it the French? Okay.
Yeah.
I knew it. Yeah. I could so see you in that role. Yeah.
So it just, and therefore, this is the thing when you're an actor, you kind of you're a massive fan, and then you see who got the role, you're like, I don't want to watch it. And so
he was good though. I'm sorry.
You know what he had, which I could not fake? A French accent, man. It said, French accent, and he's the real deal.
He played Canada.
Yeah.
So
well, there you go. You go. So,
but it's such a fun genre, man. Much fun.
I'm a massive fan, and but I'm well aware that this genre you can also do brilliantly terribly. You can do it. You can just massacre a movie. So it's got the potential to either be incredible, like what was that Toni Collette movie that really
Hereditary
really fucked me up? Did
you see Midsommar? I'm gonna give you a list of movies because you're a fan of the genre, because I'm gonna send you some movies that you're gonna knock them down and you're gonna be like, man, these, because I'm telling you, there is endless. I can put a list together of 25 movies now.
But some fans are really into the whole guts are popping out of their stomachs. And
no,
stuff.
I don't like the gore. I agree.
I'm not gore horror. I'm more whatever, a little bit of paranormal. I quite like
1BR horror. Did you as a fan? Did you It must have been cool watching 1BR. You're like, oh man, this is sick.
I did. Not only that, but there are so many things that happened with that movie. I was so shocked with how well it turned out, because they already cast my role and Sarah's role about a week before, and then both of the actors dropped out for whatever reasons, and they fucked the whole production potentially.
Oh.
We only had I had 3 days, and even during filming, it was nuts. One of the vans got stolen. And a news helicopter followed it.
There's a horror film going on behind the scenes.
Yeah. Knew about it as well, and it was on TV. There was a fucking police chase, helicopters chasing this van with our lights in, and the guy that got arrested for it, which just so weird, the most handsome guy ever. Do you know what I mean? Model looks, and you're just this is a movie behind the movie.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and I think that's on the DVD. I think that's on the sort of secret bit on the DVD.
When did the movie officially come out?
Oh, there are 2 release dates. One was the American, and one was the European.
What about so when was the American release date?
I think that was July. No, we're not
last year.
July. Wait, what month are we? We're in June. I think May, but I
of
don't
this
know.
year, right?
Yeah.
So it's still like, you see, it's fresh, and already like people have like picked it up, man.
Yeah, it got to number 14 on the 12 on the iTunes horror rankings.
It's in the top. It was in the top 50 at one point too, on the Star Meter on IMDb, which is pretty awesome.
Hey, man, like that's better than a lot, like majority of the films I've done. So it's.
Well, I'm so happy for you, man, because like I love it, man. It's awesome.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate it, and it's nice to speak to a fan of the genre as well.
No, absolutely. Thank you so much for doing the show, man. Really
thank you for inviting me.
Of course. Where can people follow you on social media?
Just my name, which no one can say or pronounce other than you. So it's Giles Matthey on Instagram.
And they can watch 1BR right now.
Yes, they can. Oh God, I should have this down, shouldn't I? But I believe you can. You can rent it on iTunes in Europe right now. I think it's on Amazon as well. On VOD. Just you're clever people. You can find it if you want to watch it.
Well, thank you so much, man, and seriously, congratulations on 1BR. It's awesome.
Well, thank you so much, my man, and you keep doing the way you have a lovely way about you. So keep on doing you.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Well, this has been Popternative. YouTube.com/Popternative for previous episodes. Horror movie fans, please watch Giles Matthey in 1BR, which is a very amazing film. You can check it out. And until next time, this is Giles Matthey and PD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.